Welcome to a brand new episode of Tell Me Something Good. I'm your host, Jelly.
And I'm your host, Jackie. And this is a podcast where we talk about self-development, experiences, and lessons that we learn along the way.
And today we have a very special guest.
Viva!
Welcome!
Thank you.
So Viva has been my friend for about 10 years. So we're going to get into that after we talk about our something good. So let's start with Silvia.
Yeah. So her name is Silvia, right? But she
Call
goes
her
by
Viva.
Viva.
Yeah.
So tell us something good, Viva.
I think for sure the snow. To me, it's just I love when it snows, especially the way it snowed. So like you had a cute little white snow, and then it melted, and then you went about your day, and I was just like, yes, it's exactly what I needed it.
It was probably like 24 hours, not even 24 hours.
And it was so pretty. It was like you got a little bit of everything, and I was like a kid. I was
jealous because we didn't get snow where I live, but
It was perfect because it was like we still went about our day in the morning. We had the evening off, and then it was still a little slow this morning, and now we have the night again. Like it's like opposite.
It's like it lined up perfectly with how you needed it in order to enjoy it. Like I got to sleep in my bed. Oh, my
Headphones.
Because I was enjoying too much being in my bed.
Yes. I enjoyed. We talked about like I love snow too. Like some people are like I hate this. I'm like no. It's like
I
gives
love
everybody
it.
time to just chill.
And it gives you something pretty to look at while you're chilling, because no matter what, you look outside and it looks so pretty. Like the trees, they're like crystallized.
Yeah.
And you're just like, look at this.
I think as long as we don't lose power, we're happy.
Yes.
That's my thing.
Power is scary.
Yeah.
Do y'all remember that snow in 2000?
Yeah.
Where it was like, it's all about perspective, y'all. Because to me, I was like, yo tenía como...
We lost power for like a week.
For like a week, everybody was like out of power. Pipes were frozen and
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But boy, I had a time.
I had fun.
To me, it was like...
remember
Because I remember
How
we
old
were
are
like...
you?
Well, en el 2000.
I was
2000 what?
2000.
2000, like the year 2000.
I was 3.
Perhaps.
I'm like I don't remember.
Perhaps. You know, that's,
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Wait.
our age difference is crazy.
Yeah.
I-
Because I was 8.
When I in the 2000, I was like, okay, 88. I was like 12.
No, but that's funny because I'm like I'm trying to remember. I'm like somewhere in my core memory it's in. Can you hear that? Oh yeah, I remember.
She was like, I really don't.
Did y'all live
She
in
didn't want to lie about that one.
Yeah, we lived in Kender up until 2008.
Okay.
So I was in
yeah.
Kent.
I was there, and I remember it was like up to here. Me being that little.
Yeah,
I remember I stepped out and like lost my shoe, never found it again.
Yeah, mine was like waist high. Mine was like
Yeah.
waist high too. But to me, we were stuck, y'all, in a little apartment. We went to visit my sister the night before, and we were stuck in this little apartment in Star. But we had a time because it was like my mom, my stepdad, my brother, my sister, her husband, like all of us in one. They were like grilling outside,
Yeah.
like steak, chicken. I was like, we're having a picnic in the snow, like. Because when we finally went to where we lived, everything was frozen. So we just ended up going back to the apartment until the power came back on.
Even the water was for everything, right?
Yeah, everything was frozen. But we survived it. Look at us.
I love that. And I think sometimes snow days or days like that is the only time that we get to, you have no choice but to relax.
Yeah.
And it's the time you have, because I think it's fun. I think that's why, because unless you're like, it's a Sunday or you're off work or whatever, you don't get those times.
Yeah.
And then if you do, you feel guilty about it because you're thinking,
Yeah.
I could be doing something. But right now you're like,
Yes,
sorry.
that's
Like,
what
it can't be done. It can't.
Yeah.
So, girl.
All right. Well, Jackie, you tell us something good.
Something good is that we have you as a guest.
Yeah, we're gonna share that as something good.
Yes, because we already did an episode. We already told you.
Yeah.
So this is really something good. Is to have a guest on here. I think it's like it takes courage to be here,
Yeah.
and so we think if you're on this podcast, you got me. You really are,
Yeah.
right?
And I feel like we've talked about it for a while, and I was like, okay, we got to set a time and date. So we have a special episode today.
I was always like excited to come because for one, y'all, I never watch or listen to podcasts. Like I have no idea about none of this world. Like in a
Yeah.
way, I would always tell Jelly because she would always listen to podcasts and I would just be listening to music.
Yeah.
I'd listen to music for 8 hours. She'd listen to podcasts, and I'd be like, and then she'd tell me about it, and I was like, they do sound interesting or whatever. So she's always talking about having one.
Yeah.
And she was always talking. She did it. And I was like,
Always.
I was like,
Yeah.
well, if she did it, it's time to watch it. So the only one
Yeah.
that watches y'all, or that I started watching like fully a new episode would come out and I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna watch it because that's the way you support if you can't do nothing else, right?
Aww.
And I was like, oh, wait a minute, this is interesting.
Yeah, she told me she'd be like talking back to us, like answering our questions.
I don't know if that's normal. I don't know if that's how you're supposed to watch a podcast.
No, that's it right there.
Yeah,
But I'd be watching
like
it. I'd be watching it and I'd be like, yes, I agree with you. I don't know about that one. And then sometimes when y'all read the Reddit stories, I'd be like, are we being a little biased right now?
I'd be like, the girl's right.
Yeah, like, automatically. Yo, con la cabeza del hombre aquí, have you seen that meme? They'd be like, yo defendiendo a mi amiga. Tenía la razón.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what it is, the girl's right.
No, I saw this video that was like, cheating is for girls. That's not meant. Like when the guy cheats, is like, oh, why would he do that? If a girl cheats, it's like, what did he do to get you? Why did he push you to that limit?
Es que, la verdad, no es tan normal que una mujer lo haga, that's why.
Yeah.
También vamos a hablar de que aquí va a haber Spanglish, porque...
Yeah.
Spanglish, yes. But, and you know what I tell Jelly? We need to do a Spanish episode.
Yeah. I feel like I'm not that confident with my Spanish.
This is probably going to be the most Spanish one, because I'll be mixing it in there.
Well,
we have... A veces no hay way to communicate it, except like in...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So I want to know how you two met. Because I don't know, like... Well, y'all grew up in the same...
Yeah. Like it's like we knew each other, but we didn't know each other.
Yeah.
Like,
we had mutual friends and... Yeah.
And we just kind of would come around each other, and then eventually we started chilling more, and then she became part of the little group that we had going on. And we clicked. We were like, oh, wait a minute. Come on. You're one of them. Come on. And so we
I think I would come around like them. Like if they were going out to a club or something, I would come. But not kind of like a daily thing. But what?
I forgot about the clubbing stories. Okay.
Yeah. Like I would go clubbing with them. And then I think when I moved, I got my own apartment in like 2014, I think. Like the end of 2014. Mm-hmm. And then I would have little get-togethers and like she would come with them and stuff. And then we just start hitting each other up like on our own.
On the regular.
Yeah.
Started chilling.
So it's been what, over 10 years of...
Yeah, I would say that, about 10 years.
Yeah. 10 years of like closeness, but pretty much of our lives pretty much knowing each other's. Yeah. Kind of like I've always kind of known you, but haven't known you, you know?
You've always been around like my cousins, my family. So I always thought, like, I feel like when I was little, I thought you were like my cousin. I probably, because you were always around.
I just remembered, I have a picture with you. I did my primera comunión, and you were dressed as like La Cinditas for Virgen de Guadalupe, because I did it on December 12th.
Not me dressed like La Virgen.
Oh my God, I just remembered, because I was like, I remember remembering you since you were like little, and I was like, why do I have such a clear image of what you looked like little?
Yeah.
And in my head right now, I was like, oh, it's because I have a picture with her. Like, I'm in my primera comunión dress, and she's right there with another little kid, a little boy or something.
It is crazy how like I will see pictures where there's like you've probably been in them too when we were little, because we used to we lived in Kinder up until 2008, and I remember when we were moving, I was so sad. I was like, no, like we were begging our parents, like, no, don't take us to Ashboro, which now I'm like, okay,
it's not even that far.
It's okay.
But it was funny how you said how you thought we were cousins, because you saw me around since I was little. I think a lot of the people in Montgomery County thought like I was related to my friends, because it was like the same little group of friends.
Yeah.
We all just kind of hung out throughout until we grew up. Literally until we grew up, and we had I guess grow apart, but we were literally the same group of friends, and everybody thought we were related, and we were just like loving it. We were just like living our lives all the time.
Yes, and you hung out with my cousins. Están bien locas mis primas. I don't know any stories, but I'm pretty sure, because my cousins, they're wild, y'all. I know you must have been wild enough.
Yo siempre he dicho, lo que es was normal for the spider is chaos to the fly, you know? What's normal, like sometimes shit that we would be like, what are you talking about? That's like normal.
Yeah.
No, but
we just knew how to have fun.
And then some people would be like, that is wild. And then sometimes I sit there and tell my stories, and they'll be like,
huh?
Yeah.
Whenever you tell me the story about y'all getting, when y'all were at the restaurant, y'all got too drunk.
Yeah, we need to talk about that.
That cracked me up. Have we talked about it on here?
I don't think so.
Oh my gosh, I need you to tell that story, because I was cracking. I'm like, how does that even happen?
I know. What year was it?
I have the picture.
Can you pull your mic kind of a little closer?
I have the pictures, I know, somewhere, because I recorded that night, but we were dressed so cute. Number one rule. At least we were looking good at it, but we ordered some pitcher margaritas there as per usual.
Yeah.
That's the weird part. Like, as per usual. Me and Jelly, y'all, we listen and we don't judge.
yeah. That's maybe we started here.
That's what we're gonna name this
listen
podcast.
and we don't.
We listen and we don't.
Yeah, listen. Me and Jelly, we would like drink bottles of Patron, just taking shots together, like
Patron
pre-game,
princess.
like just a slight pre-game, a bottle of Patron taken down in shots, and then we would go out and then still have the best time of our lives. Thank God. And
I don't think we pre-game.
My guardian angel, huh?
We didn't pre-game that night. I don't think.
No, I don't think we did. No, that's the thing.
And now it's funny because I vlogged the whole thing. Like somewhere in my iCloud, I have the whole night vlog.
Yes, I know I have it on my phone some, but like we like order a picture of margaritas as usual, and we're like feeling it, but we're chilling.
Yeah, we're eating. Like we have a whole entree. We're like pouring it up, and then I feel like we ordered another one, and then after we did that, it hit us. I feel like
before the other one even arrived.
Yeah,
Kelly was like, "Wait a minute."
So it was just y'all two?
Yeah.
Drinking? Okay, I feel like you can do a picture with two.
I've done it before.
Exactly. So it was just us two, and we're out in the balcony, like we're loving it.
And it was the summer, so it was hot. Maybe that.
It was like windy, like mi mom siempre dice, "Te pegó el aire." that's my Mexican mom for it. You went out there and all them drinks you got, te pegó el aire, you got drunk. Well, I don't know, but we were sitting out there, and Jelly was like, "I'm feeling some type of way," and she goes to the bathroom. She disappeared, and I'm thinking, I'm feeling good, but I asked for the check. I asked for the check and everything, and Jelly comes back and she's like, "No, this shit is over for. Like, I'm done."
No, y'all, this is disgusting. But I literally walked in the bathroom stall and threw up everywhere. Like, I couldn't even make it to the toilet, and I was just like, "Oh my God!" I tried to wipe it, and I was just like, "Let me get out."
What time was this? I'm trying to imagine.
It was early.
It was early
because we were thinking afterwards we're going to the club.
Yeah, like, it was like. It had to be like 7 or 8. Like,
oh my
we're looking
God.
cute. Like, it's like a dinner. Like, and then she comes back.
Yeah, I come back and I'm like, I'm not good. Like, I don't know. And then the other picture arrives and I'm like,
but I'm still feeling okay. So I'm like, no, you'll get better. It'll be all right. And we're drinking, and then en lo que pagué y en lo que llegó el cambio, I was like,
you're like, wait a minute.
Something's not feeling too good with me either.
Wait, so did y'all drink the second picture?
No, we didn't even
I
get
don't
to
think
finish
we-
it.
yeah.
I think I got to pour like one, and then that was it.
yeah.
And then the craziness comes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so she goes to the car and I'm at the table with my head down. I'm just like, I can't move. I'm going to throw up. And then I end up going to the car too. And then I'm like, well, let's just go to sleep. I was like, there's no way. So like I think I threw up in the bushes again and in the sidewalk. And then I go to the car and then I'm like, okay, let's just go to sleep, like take a nap. So we do. And how long do you think it was? I don't
even know how long it was, y'all, but all I remember waking up to cops in my face. A cop in my face asking me, how many quarters are in $1?
What?
I kid you not. And I wake up and I'm like, first of all, I'm thinking, why are you in my face? You know me. I'm gonna be bougie about this shit to the day because I was like, why are you in my face? And he's like, how many quarters are in $1? And I'm like, 4. Like,
Obviously.
obviously.
4? What you mean?
I'm like, 4. And he's like, oh, okay. He was like, just too many margaritas. And I was like, I look around.
Yeah, we look around. There's like an ambulance, like 3 cop cars.
We are in the parking lot of the restaurant. We never made it out. We're like in the parking lot of the restaurant. I don't know if my door was open or if it was unlocked and they were able to get in. But when I start to look around, it's like the restaurant, ambulances, people. Like, we were passed out in the car drunk, and we were just like, oh my God.
I was like, why did they call them? But I guess they probably thought we had alcohol poisoning.
But here's where it gets crazier. Or my guardian angel, I believe. I always say, mi pobre angelito, man. Yeah, so,
He's tired.
So somehow or another, I answered 4 quarters, like whatever, because the engine wasn't on. It was nothing. I guess I'm just sitting. We just made it to the car. I didn't cut the engine on.
So was somebody in the driver and somebody in the
I was in the driver's seat and she was in the passenger seat, but the engine wasn't on. Like, we just fell asleep. But when I answered, I was like 4, like, and then he was like, too many margaritas? And I was like, yeah. And then he was like, well, I'll tell you what, why don't you just jump to the back seat if you want to sleep? Don't sleep in the driver's seat. And I was like, okay. And he was like, just be careful, don't leave until you're ready. And I was like, okay, thank you, sir. And they closed the door and they let us be.
Yeah.
So what time was this when the cops showed up?
It was probably like 9.
10, yeah.
Like 2 hours later?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, we were in the car. I feel like it felt like right away. Like I literally was barely
That's what
shedding.
I don't know.
Like,
That's the
falling-
part. I
yeah,
don't
we
know.
don't know.
I don't know if it was right away or later because to me se sintió como un ratito. I didn't
Yeah.
even remember that I went to the car. Like I just
what was
remember
in those pictures? Should we
That-
try it one day?
I never
test
went
out
back.
The waters.
I'm like, it's like 10 minutes away. I just on there.
an experiment. Was it that time or así la
Los
cara?
drogaron,
No,
los drogaron.
No, we went another time. It was 3 of us. Remember, we got
Yes,
sick again.
just again. It wasn't as bad. It was a little bit more controllable.
But I remember we were throwing up.
We
too.
were throwing up sick still though. Yeah.
So I think
normal.
it's. I don't know what.
Si te quieres empedar, go there. But if you want to remember your life,
Yeah.
don't go there because.
And I
that was
remember
crazy.
like a week after that, my parents wanted to go out and eat, and we go there, and I'm like, yes. I was just like, I hope they don't recognize me.
Hey,
know they
I am
did.
not the same girl. Like no
That's
soy la
the old
misma.
me.
No soy la misma. But yeah, that's just one of so many stories.
Yeah.
But then it is really good to find a group of friends that you can be yourself with. Whomever
Yeah.
that is. Like I felt like we did have that for a small town. Like we were able to grow up together and be able to
Yeah.
be who we were. And then if you grew out of it and you grew apart, it was always like, well, you
Yeah.
know, no pasa nada.
okay.
But we did have that. I feel like we were lucky for the small town to have a group
Yeah.
of friends. Que nos valía madre. We would just be ourselves.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like I love that. And if you make friendships and you still have this friendship and you realize that you're not always gonna hang out, but when you do hang out, it's like
Yeah.
you have fun and you don't have to do. She was just telling me how like y'all just chill last week and just
Yeah, in
chill.
your room, just drinking.
Yeah, we were just catching up because we hadn't done it in a while.
Yeah.
And that's like the true friendships where you don't have to do too much. Like you could just chill and hang out, and that's enough quality time.
Sometimes we would just go, I'd be like, we'd go to her house just to get stuff to make like ceviche. And
Yeah.
and we'd just sit there and talk and make ceviche, garden.
Have picnics.
drink. By the way, I brought drinks.
Oh yeah, we haven't even.
I'm thirsty.
All right, pop the bottle. I don't know how to.
Yo-
Oh,
Maldición. Okay. A ver si puedo bien. A veces puedo, a veces no.
Let's see. What are we? We're celebrating that you're here.
Yes.
makes me nervous.
Oh, that was. Oh, chug, 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 chug.
I did it so good. Nada más tú y tu conciencia saben lo que traes when you wear a bag. So this is I love me some mimosas. I'm a mimosa girl.
I love mimosas too. So I'm actually not drinking this month, but I'll be getting lit off that OJ. I'll get a little juice.
There we go.
Thank you, ma'am. And then I'll pass. Well, actually,
Yeah.
let me give you this first.
Yo ya le tomé.
And everybody knows a mimosa is 90% champagne and 10% juice.
Y le pones algo al label porque hasta que no manden el cheque.
Oh, yeah.
We can't be promoting.
Oh yeah.
Although this do be
Not
hitting.
sponsored.
Let me tell you, no tienes que ser tan. It be hitting.
Let me put this. I'll put this over here.
Yeah.
Okay. Cheers. It's brunch, y'all. It's still
It is,
early.
it's brunch time, don't
Yeah.
judge.
Cheers. Ugh, I'm trying. Okay.
We did it.
Oh, you have the good OJ with the little pulp.
100%.
Is it pulp?
Freshly squeezed pulp.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, but it's.
You
I mean, the Sam's Club stuff.
Oh,
I
I was like,
didn't sit there. I should have lied. I should have kept it for a little bit.
I was like,
Sam.
she really squeezed these oranges.
They were like, this bitch is extra as fuck. I have been accused of being extra, y'all. I have been, but
I really was gonna believe you too. I was like, you really squeezed these
But
oranges.
yeah, there's a good juice.
It is.
That's good.
Y así no te da cruda tampoco. Like, you can drink this all day long and you just feel good. I promise y'all.
All
Do
right.
you have a story? We listen and we don't judge.
Where I got drunk?
Not just that we listen, we just don't judge story. Like, you know, cops didn't wake you up from your nap, but you know, a story.
I feel like I do have stories, but I don't know. I feel like I've said a lot of them on here. I be saying too
Oh, I
much.
know one.
Which one?
The SpongeBob one. Because we didn't post the episode.
Oh, the SpongeBob one. Okay.
Already the title.
SpongeBob. This is when SpongeBob came in my life. Like, so I was skipping school with Bridget, and we were skipping school with because Bridget's 3 years older than me. So I was still in middle school. She was in high school, and we were hanging out with two older guys like Bridget's age, you know? So I don't know why Bridget, first of all, why she had me out here with.
Ahora sí. I don't know why.
But it was all 4 of us skipping school. But it wasn't anything weird. Like, they would pick us up at the house and everything. Well, this day, we were skipping like just first block and second block. So I had a SpongeBob that I had won for something in middle school, but it was like in between me and another girl. So we started sharing the SpongeBob. This is like
co-parenting SpongeBob.
co-parenting.
No, they did.
This is why I knew I was too nice. I could have just I was like, no, you know what, girl, you can have it 1 week and I'll take SpongeBob 1 week.
And you said he was big, right? Like humongous.
Huge. When I tell you, he was like a fluffy SpongeBob. Like he was like this big in his feet and arms. I wish I had a picture. I don't know what happened to that SpongeBob anymore. Well, anyway, so that was the day I had to take SpongeBob back. So I will yo my sister. I have SpongeBob with me because I gotta give him back.
Like, we still get to skip, but responsabilidad ante todo. La responsabilidad ante todo.
So we're skipping. We're in the car. SpongeBob in the back seat is me, SpongeBob, and my sister, and I think the 2 guys were in the front. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's how the story went. But SpongeBob was there.
The specifics, it's me, SpongeBob, and my sister.
I promise you, SpongeBob was like his feet
like
was
a
right
whole
here.
little
Yeah, like a
person.
person, fluffy, huge, like a huge. I'm gonna find a picture of him, and tell me why we get pulled over by the police. And they're like, "What are y'all doing? It's school hours," and there's SpongeBob in the back.
I'm imagining this in my head the whole time, and I'm dying.
And we're getting pulled over. They're like, hey, do you have your IDs? And these guys were over 18. And so I'm probably like 13 at this point. Bridget was 16. They're 18. And the police is like, you know what? Call your dad. Or what did he say? What school do you go to? We're going to call the SRO. I'm not going to tell your dad anything. He ends up calling my dad anyway. So we get in trouble. We get caught. The SRO has to come pick us up from school. Like, our SRO officer, we were in front of the bowling alley, like all the way over in Ashburn. Like, so we're like 10 minutes from our school. And tell me, so these 2 guys get arrested. One of them gets arrested.
Arrested?
Because he had us underage in his car.
That is wild.
How was that?
I don't know.
Oh my God, we're doing
Is this even a rule?
I don't know, but he ends up going to jail.
Why do I want to say pobrecito?
We felt so bad.
You know, I want to be like pobrecito.
And then you see the police. Bridget's in the front seat with the police SRO, and I'm in the back with SpongeBob.
Wow.
So that was like the story. And then I show up, like, so it's just embarrassing to think about, like, and I remember me and Bridget looking at each other like, we're in big trouble. Hey, that's SpongeBob. Me, SpongeBob in the back seat. I was like, I never thought I'd be like in the back of a cop car
With SpongeBob.
But I was so young. I was like,
that is funny to think about it. With SpongeBob.
And then he dropped me off at school. I woke up me SpongeBob.
I bet the other girl's like, you're a bad parent. He's mine.
I don't think I ever got SpongeBob back after that. I think that was
custody got taken away.
But I had ISS for a whole week for skipping school. But like, that's how innocent I was. Though, like, you know, I had my
SpongeBob, your stuffed animal.
I got with my stuffed animal. You know, I'm pretty sure. Like, I don't know what happened to that SpongeBob, but I was obsessed with SpongeBob. Like, I would draw him. People would ask me to draw SpongeBob for them. I would trace it, but they don't know that.
And they do now.
I would trace SpongeBob.
They do now.
And they'd be like, draw me this emo SpongeBob. You remember emo SpongeBob?
What the
No, I feel like I do. Wait, look it
I'll
up.
show y'all emo SpongeBob. He had the emo.
not an emo SpongeBob.
I was in my emo phase. So I would draw emo SpongeBob.
Oh my God. What's that TikTok? I want to kill Mama.
I would literally draw him.
No, you wouldn't. Oh my God, that's hilarious.
I would draw it for
Oh
people.
my God, Jackie, no, I'm like crying right now.
And I had my hair like this too. I had an obsession.
You were emo.
Yes, and I was obsessed with
SpongeBob.
So,
Oh my God.
But we listen and we don't judge. I was just into SpongeBob in my emo phase, and I literally was obsessed with him. I don't know
Why is this so funny to me? I'm crying. Oh, that was a good one. This was like an unexpected story. It's like everything went unexpected. That's
somebody went to jail. My dad got called. We had rode in the police car. I got dropped off with SpongeBob. It was just in that moment.
La vida de Jackie.
Yeah, just a day in the life. But that's when Bridget used to skip school all the time. But I would always want to skip with her. Like I'd be like,
Why do we love skipping? Like, why is that so fun to us?
I never skipped.
I think I skipped a couple of times.
I think I was too scared.
Sí me daba miedo, pero ahí iba. I was
skipped.
scared, but I would still do it sometimes.
No, we would skip all the time. I'm gonna tell a funny story about Bridget. One time she skipped school. She skipped school all the time. But this one time, she was a skipper. Like, to the point where my parents had to go to the school and give us all her attendance records. We want to know what days she didn't go. So she was a skipper, but this day she skipped school. I don't know why she had this idea that her friends were going to bake a cake at the house. So they bake a cake at the house, and Bridget goes back to school right before.
Bridget would skip to make a cake. Like, I could just picture her.
So they're eating
to make a cake. I just love that about Bridget.
And they're eating.
I can perfectly picture her. Like, yeah.
But there was no evidence. No evidence. They took everything. So then Bridget gets dropped off by her friends at the school bus, because she could do that. Like, she'd make it right on time for the school bus. And then ride the bus home to make it seem like she went to school. So tell me why my mom gets home and she's like, huele a pastel. She's like, ¿Quién hizo pastel? So she starts calling Carla, because Carla, she's like, did you come to the house to bake a cake? And Carla's like, no. Mom was like, alguien se metió a la casa.
She thought a burglar was like
Goldilocks story. Somebody's been cooking in my kitchen. Somebody's been cooking in my kitchen.
Oh my God.
But my mom really thought, she's like,
did she ever find out?
Yes, because then she's like looking through the trash, nothing. Evidence is gone. And she's like looking at the oven's still hot.
Oh my God.
And she's like, alguien se me, and we're just like, no sé qué pasó. Like, we're all like, we don't know what happened. She's like, no, alguien se metió a la casa. Llámale al policía.
Oh my God.
Wow. And I think that's when Bridget was like, okay, it was me. But I'm like, why would you bake a cake? No. But I guess you don't think about it at the time. But my mom really thought someone broke into the house to bake a cake. I'm like, who would do that?
Yeah, let me do. What you say about her going like at the same time that the bus would come home, like to for her to play it off, y'all. The first time I ever skipped school, core memory, I was in 5th grade.
5th grade. You didn't get on the bus or what?
Yeah, listen to like the fact we didn't mean to skip school. But we were just like, it happened. Por el miedo, to your parents. So it's me. I'm in 5th grade. My cousin is in 4th grade. And her little brother's in 3rd grade.
Oh, my.
Oscar. A little baby Oscar. So I used to live in Bia back then, right? So the bus would only come to the top. But it would be so cold in the mornings that we would go to like Myra's house, because that was closer to the stops, the bus stop. And then I don't know why Myra was like, you know what? While we wait for the bus, let's bake some biscuits. And I was like, oh, some biscuits do sound good right now. We're in 5th grade. We're like, what, 9, right? What are you holding?
Yeah.
So we bake the biscuits and we get lost and we lose track of time. By the time we hear the bus is like on the other side of the road. Like, it's gone. It's out of BA. Like, we lose the bus. We're like, what do we do? We're going to get in trouble for missing the bus, because I left my house in plenty of time, and I'm over here baking biscuits. So I was like, you know what? Nobody's at my cousin's house. Let's just all stay there and then wait until the bus comes. And then that's when we'll walk to the blue store, because there was a little store at the top. I was like, we'll wait for the bus there. Whenever the bus comes, we'll come home and get there at the normal time. So that's what we do. And it worked out perfectly. We chilled. We put our snack money together and we went to the blue store.
Oh my God.
And snack money. We got our snack money together, went to the blue store and bought some pizza, They would sell slices of pizza, because it was like a little quick check. And so we do it. The bus comes and I was like, perfect. We got there at the same time. Pero mi prima starts waving at the kids on the bus like, bye,
Oh,
yeah. When we're walking, she starts waving.
And the kids are snitches.
She starts waving at the bus, but the bus driver's like this Hispanic lady. And I guess she catches on. But I got home and I'm like, I got away with this. You know? So my mom, till this day, this is an iconic sentence in my house, where they'd be like, comiste pizza en la escuela, because she'll be like, ¿qué comiste en la escuela? Whenever I skipped that day, my mom asked me, what did you eat at school? Like, what did you eat at school today? And I was like, pizza. I didn't lie, because I didn't say at school. I just answered the what did you eat part, because in my head I was like,
you did
I ain't dying, Jesus. No, this is technicalities. So I was like, pizza. So I go, about my day thinking I got away with it. And then I'm playing with my cousin down the road, and my brother's like, my mom's calling you. The bus driver came and told him.
No.
The bus driver was like, they didn't go to school today, blah, 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 like this and that. My mama whooped my butt so bad. She like whooped me. She was like, más que nada, she was like, porque te pregunté, like, ¿qué tu pizza? Like she really was like, that's what pissed her off. And so they still pick on me to this day about,
¿qué comiste?
Pizza. Like, I be lying. But I don't be lying, I be lying, but I don't be lying. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's funny when we think we got away with something. We're like,
Man, I had the funniest vecinos sometimes. I don't know si puedo hablar de eso porque, but they were nosy to the point that they would admit to my mom that they would watch me and my boyfriend make out.
What? I'd be like,
I would just
that's not nosy.
I was like, that's
disturbing.
disturbing. I was like, what Sally says about Sue says more about Sally than it says about Sue, because why are you watching me make out with my boyfriend? Like, of course I'm a teenager who only gets to see her boyfriend. Like, my boyfriends would only be allowed to come see me like outside the house. Like, my mom would be like, I don't want nobody in my house, So we would always be chilling like out there. So of course we're gonna be, but we would be wilding though outside. You remember, like you said, with your cousins?
yes.
We would be wilding. Yeah, we did not care. We were gonna do what we were gonna do wherever. Like,
I remember in your old front yard, like we would be twerking.
We would be I would that front yard, because I lived like in a dead end, so I felt like that was my street. I felt like, I don't care what you have to say. Like, I would throw parties, drinking till the wee hours.
Yeah.
One time we had a banda guy out there, like saxophone. We would just be chilling. We didn't care. We would just be like, this is what we want to do. I remember I would be so bad. Like, everybody knows I'd be out and about, but I would still felt like my family still had me like my family had their boundaries. Like, my mom gave me freedom, but she had boundaries. Like, yo sabía lo que podía, no podía hacer, right? But people still think that I would be out and about. But I remember I was so exagerada, like, cuando no me dejaban salir, I would be like, ya mejor mándenme de monja. Like,
yeah, I think that's what, there's a balance of it, right? Like, not just, because I used to have friends who couldn't do nothing, like, just go to school, come home, and that's it.
But low-key, I'm kind of glad that our parents were like that.
Yeah.
My parents were like that too. I think especially with Carla and Bridget, they were more strict. But ya conmigo, they gave me a little bit more freedom. Still strict enough to the point where I did have to lie, I did have to hide things. But that's character development. You need those.
It was for the plot. We needed that for our development.
Yes.
But I feel like even with my siblings, they feel like that too, because I'm the baby of 5. Yes. So I lived a pampered, you can say, life in my own way. Like, we weren't rich by any way, shape, or form, but I was rich with a family.
You were spoiled,
always, I didn't,
baby.
I was good. My childhood, if anybody asked me, I'm like, I had a good childhood in Cañadas and Anchitita. Like, I would just play all the time. And but I feel like my sisters, because both of my sisters were the oldest, but they would always tell my mom, God, dejas que Silvia haga lo que quiera. Like, she be going clubbing, she be going this. Like, the typical, yo cuando tenía su edad, yo nunca andaba haciendo eso. And you're just like, but I feel like we forget that our parents are growing up with us too.
Yes.
Like, things that they were like, I have to be strict about this. As they grew older, they were probably like, I can chill on that. Like, she be all right. Like, I feel like my mom started to get like, es lo que te inculcan. Like, whatever I teach you. Because one of the ones, like, may he rest in peace, my stepdad. I was lucky to have a really good stepdad in that, because I feel like he would never be the one to, like, be regañándome. But whenever he would say something, he would say it so, like, I'm just going to put this on the table for you, and you do whatever you want with it. That it actually stuck. And he would just be like, we let you do whatever you want, but, like, we can't look out for you everywhere. He would always tell me, like, at the end of the day, tú vas a hacer lo que tú quieres. He was like, just keep in mind that the rules that we set, no es porque nos vas a chingar la vida a nosotros, es porque te la vas a chingar, like, tú, so whatever you do, keep that in mind, like, te vas a chingar la vida tú, like, we're gonna be here for you. He would always say that, like, we're here for you regardless.
I love that.
But keep that in mind when you're out there doing you. So that was, like, the perfect for me balance of freedom, but in the back of my head, like, I would know, especially my brothers and them, like, I would know. I can't be doing this shit. But we would have some times. We would have some good times.
And I think when your like parents talk to you in that way, you even want to not disappoint them, because you know they think you're capable. Like, you know, they're like, I care about you. You're smarter than this. And you're like, yes, you're right. I don't want to disappoint. So every time I would get in trouble, I'd be like, I don't want to disappoint them. Like, that was like the worst.
Thing. Yeah, the silent treatment. That was the worst. I would prefer beat me. My mom never beat me. I would pray, like, just beat me, but get over it. But she wouldn't. My mom would just be the silent treatment. And I hate it.
And I think we were blessed with good parents. Like, we respect them so much that we're like, we don't want to disappoint them.
Exactly. That's why. And then sometimes we don't stop and think about other people. Like, we're just like so quick to judge sometimes that we were like, what were they thinking? But I'm like, girl, again, what's normal for the spiders, chaos to the fly. Like, to me, the way I grew up with my family, I think is, excuse me, the champagne, I think is the norm. But so what other people do, I'm like, God, that's wild. But to them, that's like their normal, because so it was just like, we all have to keep that in perspective.
Yeah.
When you interact with people, I think you always have to keep that in perspective.
Yes.
But yeah.
Oh, well, I love that. I think we learn from our parents too. Yeah. Like, we're all learning, like, because, and you don't have kids, right? So do you want kids?
I love kids. I have 20 something nephews and nieces. Like,
that's the best though.
Like, I have 20, like, when I say 20 something, ya perdí la cuenta.
20 something.
Y tengo 6, like, of my oldest nephews and nieces, they already started having kids. So I have like 6 grand nephews and nieces, you can say too.
Dang.
So, and then I love each and every one of them, and I love them so much that I'm just like, everybody sees how much I love them, and my sisters be like, when do you have a kid? Like, you'll love him that much more. And in my head, I'm like, mind blowing, because if I know how much I love my nephews and nieces, I can't fathom that you can love somebody like more. You know, maybe not more. I'm thinking more different, because I really do love them. So that's why I'm like, so to me, it's like, if it's meant to be, I will have kids.
Yes.
As far as I know, physically, I know I'm more than capable of, like, everything has always been, but it's always been more like, me cuidado muy a mi manera, like, because I've always had, I guess I have like the same upbringing of like the ideal of what I want. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and be like, ay no, yo nunca hubiera salido embarazada sin casarme. No, it's just, if it didn't happen, if it wasn't meant to be. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm very much like, what's meant to be is going to be, you know. So if it's ever meant for me to have a kid, I'll be more than good at it, I think. I'd be good at it. But again, if I don't have it, it's not nothing that's going to define anything.
Like, you're okay if that doesn't happen. I think I've gotten, like, I do want kids, but I'm at that point too where, like, and then I also think I love my nephews and nieces. Like, I'm like, I don't even know what I would do. Like, I feel like I'd be crazy. Like,
exactly. I always tell Jelly that I'm like, props to you as a mom, because look, y'all, I'd be anxious with my nephews and nieces. Like, I kid you not. The other night, I woke up. It was like a thunderstorm, and all 3 of my nieces were working at this little restaurant at that time. But that was the exact time that they would get off and go home. And I'm literally like paranoid in my head, thinking they're on the road in the storm. And I'm just like, I'm literally like checking like on their Snap, because I know they all have each other's locations. And I'm like, yo, check that everybody's home. Like, because I know by them, I can check if everyone is home. So imagine that anxiousness amongst 20. And they were like, oh yeah, with your kid, it's like 100 times worse. I'm like, talk about birth control. I don't want to feel 100 times more anxious all the time about my child.
Yes, but now I understand. My mom used to stay up till I got home. This lady would wait. So, no me voy a dormir hasta que llegues. I'm like, duérmete, mayor, te voy a llegar. Tú ya duérmete. No, she's like, aquí te voy a esperar. And she would be, sometimes sleeping on the couch. As soon as I walk in, she's like, no, ¿qué hora es de llegar? And then she go to her room. But she was like, I ain't sleeping till.
I didn't get it before either. But now, like, because I would be like, just leave me alone. Like, I would argue all the time, like, I want to live my life and I want to go here. But they would be calling me, like, you know, and I would be like ignoring it. And then I'm like, oh my God, now I think about the anxiety they probably felt, like, you know, and it's bad.
I know. But they said you always get the opposite of you. Like, if you were that child, they said that your child would be the opposite of you. So I feel like Brayden is so chill.
And he'll text me. Like, he knows how I am, so he'll text me.
And I feel like he's just like so close to you in that sense.
And he'll, like, if he's with his friends, like, every now and then he'll be like, we're going here. Like, he keeps me updated because he knows.
He knows his anxious mom.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, to me, we would just be like, Maya, what you got? Like,
Yeah.
We'd comer. We'd at McDonald's. We'd at Waffle House.
And like, yeah, pero ahorita vamos a ir a comer otra cosa. Like, yeah, I remember my mom used to be like that too. Like, she would always be like, I can't sleep, whatever, right? But I was always able to get to my house. Sometimes I would get to my house like right before she would wake up. But that's all she would ask of me, just be here when I wake up, you know. But sometimes she would be calling like, I can't sleep. I guess she felt like
anxiety.
Andaba yo en el desmadre, you know. Sometimes she could sleep because I was probably not doing the most, but sometimes she couldn't sleep because I probably was doing the most. But I would always be like, yo ya sabía. I would just answer the phone. I'd be like, sí, ma, ahorita voy. And then, you know, I'd chill another 2 hours. Then she'd call again and be like, ahorita voy.
Yeah, voy en camino.
Like, I knew that would have like extra hours, right? And she would always put up with it for the one time, y'all. La única vez que me madrió, like, she whooped my ass. And it was so funny because she said she was tired of me, like, saying, ahorita voy, you know? And she said that she remembered she stood behind the door. And she was like, I could hear you outside going, bye, girls, bye, girls. Because my friends would go drop me off. Like, we had lived our lives. I was like, bye, girls. You know? And then I opened the door and she opened and she started whipping me with a belt. Like, whipping me, like, tired of me. I was like, and then she felt bad. You could tell she felt bad afterwards because it wasn't even that late. Like, it was all right. But I was like, I guess, I shouldn't have kept saying. But I was like, my excuse was like, well, I don't have a car. I can't tell people what to do.
That's
like,
a good one.
I'd be like, you think I can boss people around? Tell them, bring me? Like, what is? So then they gave me a little car. I was like, oh.
Ahora no tienes excusa.
Yeah, you know, but yeah, they were good to me though, but I would be doing that.
I know, me too. I would always be like, yeah, boy, like, voy en camino. Like, and I remember telling y'all first, like, everybody shut up, my mom's coming. Like, everybody had a friend. Everybody, turn the music off, my mom's calling. I'd be like, bueno, hey, vamos. I turned it off.
Ahí sí todos cooperaban, right? Like, everybody would be like, everybody would understand the assignment. They really would.
That is hilarious. I haven't thought about doing that, like, you know, where you're just like, everybody just shut up.
Like everybody would understand the assignment all the time, like, and then sometimes
no, I was just gonna say, I think it is part of the rebellion because now that we can do what we want, we're just like,
we don't do nothing.
After dry January, what the heck? Something ain't right.
I know, right?
You know what? It's not okay.
Mejor tómate una ahorita.
For real, now that I literally am a grown adult, I don't, what the heck?
But I feel like I am a true believer that everything that needs to happen happens. Like, I feel like we needed to do that. We needed to get that out of our systems. We needed, like, my lifestyle, I think, happened exactly like it needed to. Like,
yes,
from my perspective. Because other people would be like, ay, cabrón. Pero for me, it worked out exactly like it needed to. Like, I got to be free. I got to have a good time. Me and my friends have so many memories together. Even if I don't talk to them anymore, like, I have some of the greatest memories with a lot of these girls, like, different girls that you just, like, you share core memories with. And then, like, I feel like right when my life needed to get serious, I was ready for it. I didn't resent not one thing about being responsible. Like, now, my life is like a 180. Well, not completely, because I still be ratchet sometimes. But, like, I remember, like, it all changed when my dad got sick. My stepdad, he was a really, really good stepdad. And whenever he got sick, I feel like my life just slowed down.
And I feel like that night is crazy.
We were together.
We were together when that happened. And it was such a horrible night for me and you.
It was life-changing. Like, it made us look things into perspective. And then I truly believe sometimes, too, like, when people start growing out of situations together, that's, I think, when they remain friends because they're growing out of things together. Sometimes you may catch up with other people later on in path. Sometimes they're ahead of you and you don't realize it and you think like they're not talking to you because, you know, but really they're just growing differently than you. But there's the few, I think, that get to grow together in a separate way because that night, me and her were together. We were getting ready at my house, getting ready to go out. It was like that week of Christmas and New Year's, cuando no sabes ni qué onda, you know, like you're just doing whatever that week. Like, we're getting ready to go out, and I get a call from my brother, like, my dad was sick. And I was like, my dad's literally never sick. Like, he never even gets headaches. Like, this, Santos, my friends know him as, like...
He was always, like, tending to the flower. Like,
he was always active. Like, he was, like, my little, like, Rambo. Like, my friends know him, like, your primas and them, like, they be like, Rambo, you know? Because that's why we would refer to him from this one story. This one funny story with him. But anyway, so I was like, he never gets sick, right? So... she drives me, like, I lose it a little bit. I start kind of like Not, I left the keys inside, and Jelly's like, it's okay, I'll drive you up there. Like, you clearly cannot drive. Because I really was like, he never gets sick. Like, I knew something new. And so that day he gets diagnosed with like a brain tumor, like that same night. But she goes on about her way, and she has her own horrible experience. Like I'm calling her in the morning to tell her like how bad it went with my dad. And then she's like,
yeah, I ended up getting a DUI that night. That's the night I got a DUI.
Really?
Because we were supposed to go out, and then, you know, I took her there, and I was like, it was my friend's birthday party. And I was like, should I go? Should I not? Like, I was still like, and then I was like, well, if she messaged me before I passed the exit, then I'll go. And like she did right away. So I go, and I got way too lit, but I go to my friend's apartment, like to sleep it off. And the next morning,
the responsible thing.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to sleep it off. And the next morning, I'm like, okay, I'm good. But obviously, I wasn't good. But I ended up getting a DUI. But that's why we're like, that was like a horrible night for both of us. Because then, the next morning, like, I was depressed. Like,
like, I'm calling her to tell her, like, what's going on with my dad. And she tells me how upset. And I was like, no, like, I felt so bad. I felt so bad for her. But I feel like even that night, like, I kind of was like, yeah, I got to get my shit together now. Because, like, whenever I started knowing, like, everything that, the steps that we were going to follow to, like, try to fight this, I was like, yeah, I'm going to have to get my shit. Like, I always knew I was capable of. Like, I feel like that's something that I'm like, I know exactly what I'm capable of. If I'm not doing it, it's because, quite frankly, I don't want to.
Yeah.
So that's the quote right there.
Don't be out here thinking like, ta pendeja. Like, no, just, I know.
Yeah.
And I feel like, no, sometimes no matter how much people tell you until you notice it, te vale madre. So I was that moment, I was like, shit, like, I really got to step up now, you know? They've done this for me, so now I got to do it for them. But at the same time, I feel like if I would have been with a different friend at that time, and she was still in a different place, she wouldn't have came along with me. But then that happened to Jelly, so she kind of felt like, I got to get my shit together.
Yeah, it was at the same time.
So it was like, we kind of like, took our shit together together.
Together.
We could have got our shit together in a separate way.
That was both a life-changing moment.
Yeah.
Like,
so how long after that did he pass away?
Exactly a year and a half.
Really?
We fought it for a year and a half.
Wow. That's what makes me sad, is that how one day everything could be great, and then the next. I was just talking to somebody about this too, about her husband had passed from, oh, sorry, y'all, that's my stomach. We hungry. Her husband passed from cancer, and she said he was good. And then he started feeling sick, and then 5 months later he passed. And it's like, you just like, we just never know.
You really never know. And I feel like his diagnosis was like a blessing and a curse. Of course, a horrible, horrible curse, because I would do anything for him to be here, you know? But I have to trust God's plan all the way. And at the same time, I'm like, everything worked out in a way where, because, you know, sometimes being diagnosed with something like that, it's like a horrible feeling. But I think it's the roughest for the person going through it.
Yeah.
But for you, as far as you, I feel like it's like it shakes you to like care, to show this person like, hey, this person's at risk. Like it makes you realize what you have and show it more. So to you, I think to the people around is beneficial, but the person that suffers it the worst. But I feel like at the same time, you get to like say your goodbyes. You get to get your stuff together. Like with him, we never thought he was gonna not beat it, because the diagnosis was always very like, oh no, we have chance. Like, you know how everything rolled out was like, no, we're still fighting it. We were literally still fighting it until the last 3 weeks. Yeah, like the doctor would tell us like we still have hope. Yeah. And then all of a sudden he's like, I'm sorry, like bring him home, because we were like taking him to hospitals. Like I was on it, like I would stay at the hospital, like, so he's like, bring him home, like, you know. But it's because it was a brain tumor. But at the same time, I feel like when he got diagnosed that 1 year and a half, I feel like he realized what he had as a family, because I feel like even as a family we all jumped ship like together, like we were like, we got this, like this is solid. And to keep in mind, this is our stepdad. He never had any kids with my mom. None of us were his kids, and we were just like, it's time to show him. So we did. And in a way it was like we got to like El Padre lo vino a ver, like we got to put everything together for him, that at the end of the day I felt like he passed in such a peaceful way that I'm like, that's a nice thing to have, because some people don't get to do that. Some people wake up, leave their house mad, and then never see the people again. And I feel like we got to show him love literally to the end. So I'm just like, you have to look at the good and the bad in everything. So I was like, that was a hard time, but it was also like a beautiful time.
Yeah. That is, oh, thank you.
But yeah.
Wait, but I'm like, You're strong, but I think we don't see what you really, like right now you're.
Oh yeah.
But like obviously at that time, when was this?
This was 2019. So it was like 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah. But to me, it was just like such a learning experience because I feel like it brought so many things upon. Like it was like, se desenvolvió una cadenita like of things that needed to happen. Again, you have to trust God's plan. Sometimes you're just like, why are you taking this from me? But sometimes he's like, what needs to happen? And it does.
And I feel like that's faith, like trusting in God no matter what the circumstances are.
Yeah.
Well, because I'm sorry, but what is it without faith? Like, I feel bad for people that don't have faith. Yeah, and I don't talk about this a lot. Like I was telling Jelly, I feel like I never really post about God like that because I'm so celosa of my things. Like to me, that's like my relationship with God is my relationship with God. But in my way, I'm like, pobrecita la gente que no tiene fe, because anytime you feel like at your lowest,
like what do you turn to?
Exactly. I'm like, okay, so I know what's helped me through.
Yeah.
What's helping?
Like, how do you do it? And I almost feel like admirable in a way, but in a way I feel bad for you too, because it's just like, how do you do it if you don't have faith? Because God knows I lean on him whenever I can't no more.
Yeah, on the way here we were talking about that because we had posted some reels and some people commented this is what brainwashed looks like when we were talking about God. And we were getting comments.
No.
Yeah, and we don't believe it or nothing, but we were like, we kind of feel bad for people like that who...
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't even make us angry. It just makes us feel, like, sad in some...
But, like, that's what I'm like, in a way, that's what I feel like. I don't like to make anybody feel like you show up with interest. If it comes up in conversation, I'll talk about it. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's between you. Like, you can lie to the world, but you can't lie to yourself.
That is true.
And I feel like God is yourself because we're made from him. So
that is so
whatever God you believe in, because I also, I'm not judging whatever you believe in, but we all have to believe there's this higher power. Come on, be fucking serious.
Yes, that's so funny. That's literally what we were talking about.
Yeah,
because we were like, back then maybe that would have been like, why are they commenting this on this? We were like it didn't affect us because it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, it is true. It's just about your own relationship. Like, nobody has to understand it.
Nobody has to understand it. Half the time it won't. Half the time people would think. Half the people will be shocked that you have one sometimes, and you're just like, what perception do you have of me? But
that's the
anyway. Not that I really care, but I'm just like, damn, me crees que pues diablo, okay, But I'm just like, what you think this has nothing to do with me is a lot of the times. I'm not saying I do it all. Sometimes hay personas que you care about you, what they think does hurt you, But most of the time I'm just like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
What you think? I'll be like, okay.
Yes.
But
have you always been like that, or have you used to care?
No.
You've never cared? I love that.
I feel like I was blessed with my mother. Shout out to my mama.
I remember your mom.
You see my mom. Me and my mom are like this, y'all. Me and my mama. Now that I'm older and me and her like this, I'm like, thank God for her. I am who I am. Because a lot of me personality traits are like childhood me personality traits. Like, I knew what I was gonna like desde chiquita, but my mom never stopped me from like being me. Like, I would play for hours Barbies. I'm talking hours. I mean, I was a movie director with my. I was making like mansions for my Barbies and cañadas. Like, that's for another day. La historia de cañadas is for another day because that's like rancho living. But like, I lived in a town where there was no cops, there was no Walmarts, we would get light, but sometimes it would go away. Like, I lived outside, and all the way from when I was born till I was 8. That was my life in Mexico. Like, we would go to the city sometimes, but my life was in the rancho, like straight, so I would be playing Barbies all the time or whatever. But yeah, like I said, my mom, she would just let me be. And I feel like that's what strengthened me, that I can't say that I don't recall people looking at me and being like, porque no eres una niña normal, Like, I have gotten that quite often, actually. Like, quite often people be like, no, it's normal, like the things that you do, like, but I'm just like, it's not normal for you,
It don't have to be.
I can see how this is not normal for you, but I'm just like that. But I didn't remember, but again, for me, it was normal to be me. It wasn't until people would point it out that I would be like, so people don't do that.
Yeah, like, that's weird. Wait, what?
My cousin Oscar and them, like, we would grow up and he would be like, Prima, you live in a bubble. And I'd be like,
I love that though.
and I'm like, is that a good thing or a bad thing? He'd be like, for real? And I'd be like, well, I just do me most of the time and hope it works out.
Yeah, the episode we did before this was how, like, we're kind of talking about how we can't control what other people
Yeah.
do or say, but we can only control how we handle it. And that reminds me of that. Like, people might tell you this or tell you, but you can only control how you react to it.
And then I was always saying, like, ignore it. Sometimes what people say, you have to, like, think about, like, it's for, like, ¿por qué te molesta? You know, like,
Yeah, it's something internal.
Something internal, like, si te molesta tanto, sometimes it's like I'm rereading because I have a book club, y'all. I'm so me and my other friends.
I saw that.
Yeah, we did a little book club. I had already read the Cuatro Acuerdos, but I read it in Spanish, which is so hard. I used to think Spanish was my first language, and it is somewhat to a certain extent. But sadly, I've been here since I was 8, so I think mostly in English. I think, you know, so reading properly written Spanish was like a challenge, but it was such a good book. So we're rereading it now with some friends. We're doing a book club, and I'm reading it in English now. So it's like refreshing everything. And it's also, when I read it, I was in a certain stage, and now that I'm reading it, I feel like I comprehend it like on a whole different level, like 10 times better. So I feel like it is some of the stuff is internal. Like, some of the things that people tell you that bother you is because you believe them too.
Yes.
So if you believe them enough to bother you, perhaps you should do something about it.
That's so
But if it doesn't bother you, then perhaps you don't need to do something about it.
Yeah. Even like when you say, like, you can take things like personal. I remember I've heard people tell other people, like, why do you always get ready? Or why do you? And it's like, why does it bother you? Like, I can't look good. Like, like, I've seen that. I've seen it firsthand. And even con mi mamá siempre le pasaba eso con mi mamá.
I have always admired your mom for that. I always tell people that.
But they would tell
I always tell her that.
They'd be like, ¿por qué te arreglas? Like, when she used to have her other jobs. And she'd be like, ¿qué no me puedo arreglar? Like, is that a problem?
Yeah, like, es porque mucha gente se les hace raro, porque it is like, you have to set time apart for that. Like, in las mañanas when we get up for work, I'm just like, oh, I can't help. But I always be like, man, I admire the people that do. And I do remember your mom being, as I grew up, one of the ladies que tú nunca la veías desarreglada. Like, never. And then I would go years without seeing her, and then I would see her again, and she was arreglada to the T. And I'd always, anytime I see her, I'm just like, look at her. Like, I admire that in people. Like, where I work at, there's this lady, y'all. She's 82 years old. And she's a volunteer in the front desk at the hospital, you know. Her name is Miss Mary. And she's the cutest, tiniest little lady. Like, she's tiny, she's cute con sus chinitos, but she's always dressed to the T, like pearls match, the shoes match her little lipstick, you know, like, she's always so cute. And I'm just like, I strive. I would be happy if I have half the energy at 82 to still put myself together, not for nobody else, but for me, bitch. Because what if I still care about looking cute? Because if we really do be like that, they'd be like, why you
get ready for that? Or what?
Like, you know the memes where they'd be like, Christmas dinner, your family would be like, ¿por qué estás vestida así? Yeah. They'd be like, así como, with my gown, like, to the floor. Like, people would be like, you're so extra. And I'm like,
and I think,
am I though?
If the worst thing you can say that is you're extra, I'll take it.
I take it. Extra. And then that's not to say there's not fodongo days, because then there's some days where they see you be like, mira, la que se cree muy bushy, la vi el otro día en la gas station con unas pinches pijamas. You know, like, but
we can do both. We can do both. Okay.
Get you a girl that can do both. Because I'd be like, that's not to say, because I have like people who comment on my things, be like, you're always so bougie, and I'm like, no, I post when I'm looking bougie. Like, I'm not posting when I'm sitting at home eating my bag of chips. Like, no, but it does happen. Don't be fooled by the looks that I got.
No, but it is a lot of, like, I admire people who really don't care, like, what others think, because I think, like, it takes a lot of, like, mental strength to become that person and to be that person, and I love that.
Thank you. I don't think I had realized it until now that I'm old. That's why I can confidently say things, because I feel like I really do should think, like, or am I, you know, like, you know, should I care? You always wonder too sometimes, like, should I care? Like, even like you said, when I would hang out with my friends, and a lot of people would like point at us and call us wild, and to a certain extent I was like, should I have cared, you know, that people were calling us wild like that? But then I stop and think, and I don't.
Was that wild or was that fun? Yeah. And were you boring?
Exactly. Was I wild, or did I teach you what to do? Because I see you doing it now, you know?
You were ahead of your time.
I mean, I see a lot of the stuff that me and my friends, I will say this, a lot of the stuff that me and my friends, just pretty much that we would hang out, we would get judged for shit that I'm like, look at you no, you should have told me you wanted to do it when you were talking shit. I would have. Nah, I probably wouldn't have invited you, but because we were like, you can't sit with us. No, there was just a certain group of friends that we were judged. I know for a fact we were judged and we were pointed and we were called wild. And I'm just like, look at us now. We all like in a different place. And I'm just like, you just weren't used to that then, but you see it everywhere now that you don't comment on it. That's the only difference.
Yeah. And I remember the reason, and also like my cousins, like even to this day, because when I was younger, like we didn't hang out because I was young and they were hanging out more with Carla. But now when I see them, I like remember when we hung out with like Brenda and Sophia, like.
We were younger?
No, at the Tuckaloco.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I love them. Like, they really don't care.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I was like, y'all should come on the podcast, but we probably get canceled. But y'all should come. But they're so fun. And, like, you know, you see them as wilder. But to me, I'm just like, y'all are just fun. And y'all just, like, don't care what others think. And that is like, so fun.
I may not be, like, no soy monedita de oro para caerle bien a todos. Like, I'm sure there's people that find me utterly annoying. But I'm just like, well, that's for you.
I'm not your cup of tea.
You probably shouldn't come around me because I have no control. I'll be myself. And if that bothers you, you're going to be really bothered the whole time.
Where's the orange? Oh, over here.
I thought que no querías.
Okay.
I thought que no querías. That's why I hadn't offered it. I saw you go for that. But yeah. But I always took you for somebody that didn't care.
I feel like I used to not care when I was younger. And then I started caring. And now I'm back to like trying to be that, like not care again.
Because I feel like, do we careless souls sometimes kind of spy each other? That's why we gravitate to each other. Because I feel like Jelly is free, but she sometimes se cohibe, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like the reason I kind of gravitated to her, because in a certain way she is herself. Mm-hmm. In a different way than me, she's pretty much herself with regardless of what people say, you know, like she goes through her stages and she does whatever, like in her own free way, and she does what she needs to do to be her. So I'm like, do free souls kind of like gravitate to each other? Like,
yeah.
And that's why it's hard for others to understand it, because they're not gravitated to us, because they're not like us.
That's what we were talking about one time, is how like we were talking about how I was saying how I make friends with the black sheep of the family all the time. And she's like, me too.
I'm the black sheep.
Yes, me too. I feel like I'm like the one who challenges a little, but I'm like, it's because, and then every friend that I have is like always the black sheep of the family. And I'm like, there has to be something linked to that.
I think honestly is because we all, like I said, we have a different concept of acceptance of reality, I think. And in a way, it's also a little bit onto us to break the chain.
Yes.
In a certain way. Like me, I'm the baby of 5. But you would be surprised the amount of times that I catch myself having to be the one breaking the chain in my family. Like as far as like the way they talk to the kids, or like the way they interact, or like the things they say. Like even like being in charge. I'm like, I'm the baby, but somehow I'm the one that coordinates like mom's birthday celebrations or Mother's Day celebrations. Like I'm the one saying who needs to do what, or like they'll be coming to me to be like vent about something that's happening for me to find a way to fix it. And I'm like, I'm the baby. Like how am I the one fixing? But at the same time, I'm like, I have an awareness that they don't, because for the same reason, because we grew up differently. Like mis hermanos sufrieron una vida, and I'm like, yo no, like yo en la vida, because they were older than me, they helped me have an easier life. So maybe now all I can do is like try to like squeeze it in there, like the, you know, without them being like I'm shoving it down their throat.
Yes, I agree. I think I've felt that way too. Like where you're like, what am I gonna do? Like you start thinking, but sometimes it's just we see it in a different perspective, and they just need that.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't like it.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not easy. Because sometimes they'll be like, ay, la estás defendiendo.
Yes.
Yeah. Like my sisters or like whatever, they'll be like, they'll vent about something and I'll listen. But I also try to be like the mirror of like, or what if, you know? And then sometimes they take it well. It's also in the mood of the person, just like sometimes I would take it. But sometimes they'll be like, pero tú le estás defendiendo. Or they'll be like, me estás atacando. I'll be like, or am I being real? You know, like, yeah. But there's only certain people con la que tienes esa confianza that you can do that with, you know, because I can't do that to a random person. I might get punched in the throat.
It's like always family, though. Like the people you're closest
that you
to.
care about, because, I mean, that's who you're going to care about to keep a relationship with anyway. Like,
yeah, because you want the best for them. And sometimes we think, like, I'm like, just do this or do that. But it's like, no, everyone is on their own.
They have to go through it. Yeah. They literally have to go through it to learn it. Because I know people will be like, where I'm at right now, people will be like, I always knew you could. I don't know whether you hadn't, you know. And I'm like, I always knew too. I just wasn't trying to do it yet. I wasn't trying to do it. And then I'm not saying it's a good thing. It's probably a bad thing because I could probably be so much more ahead. But in my head, I'm like, well, ¿de qué sirve quejarme now? If like, oh, si hubiera empezado a hacer esto antes, ya estuviera like, no, todo pasó porque tenía que pasar and fuck it, you know?
Fuck.
No, you know another story that cracks me up is when you helped me move.
The truck.
Yeah.
What is this story? I haven't.
It's funny. I was moving.
I have all of this on my Snapchat.
Yeah, I have some snaps too. It's like I was moving from my apartment back to my parents. And she was like, well, I can get my brother's truck to like help us move things. And I was like, okay. So we go to the gas station to pump gas. Well, what happened? I went inside?
No, I think we had already done one time. You were moving from your apartment to where you're at now.
No, I was moving to my parents.
Oh, back to your parents?
Yeah, because it was in Candor.
Yeah, because it was in Candor. But my brother had let us borrow the truck, right? It was a white truck, like a regular white looking truck. And we had already done a couple of trips.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I guess we just pump gas now to give it back. Because he had gave it to us with gas, you know?
Yeah.
So we go and then I park it and Jelly gets off to go pay it. Because she was going to go pay it and come pump it. I was going to stay in the car. And I'm staying in the car. And I see this, and they're like, you know, that we're like into like there's a pump next to us, like on the other side.
Yes.
And a white truck is parked there too, but I hadn't even noticed that truck. But here comes Jelly. Here comes Jelly out of the gas station after she paid.
No.
And she starts pumping
In
their gas.
No, but the trucks look exactly the same. Like, how does that happen? And I'm literally like pumping.
I didn't see this video.
I'm pumping and I'm just standing there. And then I just hear, what are you doing?
And I'm recording her because I was like, what is she doing? But tell me why the people in the truck are so...
They got so mad. We went inside because I pump and I hang it up. I'm like, what the fuck? So we go inside to the gas station and I tell the cashier, I'm like, I accidentally pumped. But I was like, how did it work?
No, but
they had prepaid with a credit card.
They had prepaid too, yeah.
So they came out of the bathroom and then the cashier's like explaining to them. And they're so mad. Like, they want to like fight me.
They want to call the cops. I literally have it recorded.
Over what?
Over me pumping their gas in the truck.
Ellos no entendían que they still got gas in their truck. I think in their head they thought like they had prepaid the pump and we had moved their truck and then put our truck to pump. Like, I feel like that's the only logic I got behind it. The only thing is that the funny part is that she got the wrong truck, but she didn't do nothing wrong. She just pumped the money that they had paid into their gas. Like,
but I think because I hung it up, I guess I only pumped like $4.
And they were like thinking that we took their money. Oh, look, here's the video.
No. Oh my God, not the video.
Turn the volume up. She's like pumping in the whole wrong truck.
It does look exactly
the same.
She said $3.
Yeah, it was like
she hangs it up.
I hang it up. I think they got mad because they were like, we don't want to run our card again.
Yeah, but like they were talking about calling the cops. And I'm recording. There's a video where I'm recording them, and I'm like, "Call the cops for what, dumbass? Like we didn't take your gas. We just pumped it for you. Like just get it."
And I felt bad. I was just quiet. I'm sorry.
I wasn't. I was like, I was confrontational as fuck.
You know, in Mexico, they echan la gas. Like, like, we ain't in Mexico. I didn't know you to pump my gas.
That's basically, but it was so funny because I was like, no, she didn't. When I saw her going to the truck, I started recording her because I was like, what is she doing? She was going to pump it.
But I was like, why were they so mad? Like they were like,
there was. I feel like they didn't comprehend. They didn't
understand. Yeah.
Maybe they. I don't know.
Yeah. We've always had random stories together. Like,
okay, but that is hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Like whenever we were like, we're gonna go pull up and such, and we're just like, okay, let's go.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And we're just like, and then I was like, wait a minute, let's not do that.
Wait, pull up at somebody's house?
Yeah. It was my ex. I was like, I want to go spy.
No, you didn't.
But it was funny because I'm telling you, we would be the kind of friends that we would get together without an actual plan. Like our afternoons consisted of we're gonna get somewhat decent and get together and look at whatever the day holds. So we got together and I jumped in the car with her and I'm like, so what are we doing today? Kind of like picking the brain, like. And Jelly was like, this motherfucker.
I want to hear. So y'all were gonna go spy on him?
Yeah. I get in the car and I'm like, so what do you want to do? You know, we're dressed up and shit. She was like, I want to go spy on my ex.
Well, we were exes then. Like, I don't know. He was ignoring me or something. And it was like 40 minutes away. I was like, we're going. And we go and like we park and like we're watching and we seeing the lights like cut on and off. And then I was like, I'm going to go look in the window.
And the thing is, like, I was being a supportive friend the whole time. And I was like, okay, I'm like, I dressed up. We could go anywhere. We could go eat dinner. Like, we're
ready for any occasion.
And then me being the supportive little, I'm like, okay, let's go. I'm being supportive. Like, we're watching and we're like being supportive.
I'm like, I'm freaking stalker.
She's like, and we're like watching and I'm being supportive. And then she was like, I'm going to get off and look through the window. And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, I'm here for it. I promise you I am. I was like, but let's think about this.
Yeah, like, you could get shot.
Like, you could get shot. He could call the cops. Like, just anything could happen. I was like, this is a bit much. Like, what we're doing right now, they can't tell us nothing, you know? So I felt like, I was like, wait a minute.
You're like, okay,
let's reel it back in.
So did he live like in a house, like where you were trying to pull up to his house, or like?
Yeah, but I was just trying to spy on him. Like, what are you doing? Because you're not answering my call.
Like, you being, and I was like, what is that? Say my name. Like, he would be up to something.
Was he in there?
Yeah.
I feel like woman's intuition, though, you be knowing if something's off, something is off.
Did you see anything?
No, she wouldn't let me go look in the window.
Like, if something is off, something is off. But
Yeah.
And I think when we're young, we just want to down for anything. We're just thinking about the consequences.
You're so careless when you're young.
And I think the thrill of it, like, there's some kind of thrill of, like, you don't know. But now I'm like, that gives me anxiety.
But again, it goes to, like, I feel like it happens exactly when it needs to, because a los 20 y algo, okay, it's somewhat acceptable, but, like, you know, sit
down.
I feel like if you know better, you need to start doing better. That's that's the rule of thumb. Once you start knowing better, do better. But, you know, people expect you to know better before you're ready to know better.
Yeah.
But once you know better, don't be ignoring it and still be doing dumb shit. Because that's when, I feel like that's when stuff doesn't work out for you no more.
Yeah, that's when the consequences get bigger.
Yeah, they catch up with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, my cousin always be like, man, bitch, you and your friends, like, she would like, you always got away with shit. And I was like, no, I think it's because we didn't do it with fear in mind. Yeah. Like, most of the time, I want to believe that most of the time, everything that we did, it was never malicious. It was never with bad intent. And it was never with fear of, like, something bad happening. It was really true, young, wild and free fun. Like,
and I think we never were doing, like, bad shit. It might have been people we were around and we were kind of like,
I never intentionally hurt anybody. I can honestly say, in all of that, we never did anything to intentionally hurt anybody. Like, we were just doing fun. Now, were we around people that we didn't need to be, because they were intentionally doing a lot of shit, let me tell you. But I was just like, that was, and I understand that this is not the norm for a lot of people. Like, they're just like, for me, I was like, why was being around guns so norm?
Yeah.
And sometimes you gotta be like, I'm too open-minded. Like, I'm open-minded, but I'm about to get myself in trouble.
Exactly. Like, you want to see the good in people, but they're like, sometimes you gotta see that they have some bad too.
Yes. That is, because sometimes I'll be like, well, I don't do it, but I don't judge people who do.
Yeah,
but then I'm like,
that's how
I'm around it.
Yeah.
And then sadly, like, people from afar can't tell the difference. So that's when you get, like,
they perceive you in a different way.
Yeah, like, or they don't believe in growth. We were talking about that too.
Yeah.
Like, people don't believe in growth. And I feel like in one of y'all episodes too, y'all were talking about, like, how people be like judging people that, oh, they used to be this, but now they're posting about this. Like, it's not even about what you used to be and what you're posting. It's about the realness of who you really are. Because I'm like, there is growth. Why do people not believe in growth? Like, you change, you literally change, and if you're not changing, something's wrong.
Yeah.
And you can change at any given moment too. It doesn't have to come with, you don't have to prepare anybody for your change. You can just do it. And I think sometimes people don't understand that. They're like, well, how could you go from this to that so quick? It's like, I can. You don't realize how long I've been wanting to do this.
Like, it was, and like, I finally there somewhere, it finally came to the front.
So, but yeah, that's crazy. We were talking about, like, that too on the way here, like, how you will get judged when you try to do better. You try to do, and sometimes people will try to hold on to that version, but
of you, like your old version, like, ay, sí, como si no conociera que.
Yeah.
Oh, remember when you
conociste? This is me now.
Or I remember cuando hiciste esto. What about when you?
I'd be like the way I'm like, I don't recall such matters.
Yeah, that's the old me.
I don't recall such matters. If I don't recall, it did not. But we would,
But isn't it so fun to have stories like to
exactly? I was like, imagine if I was just cookie cutter live, like, which I'm not saying that's wrong, but for me personally, I can't picture not having some of the stories that I have in my belt.
And I think when you go through experiences too, like I'd be like, I can't judge. You know, it makes you be more like, I don't.
A lot
you don't
more
judge nothing.
Yeah, like you're in, like, you know what? Sometimes it surprises me the lack of empathy people have. Like sometimes people, because they probably are living a better life than you, but sometimes people put in themselves in a position where they'll be like, ay, pero yo vivo así, esta persona vive así, ¿cómo puede ser? Like, I'm just like, oh man, like that's so bad that you live like that. Because I'm like, es pesado vivir trying to keep yourself in a pedestal, because I feel like you yourself don't allow yourself to be you, like to make mistakes. Like you always have to make mistakes. Like, and everybody's change is different. Like some people change just a little bit. Like I said, I still have a little ratchet in me. I still want to do ratchet shit, but I know what I got to do, you know? But some people don't. Some people leave it behind completely. Like they shut doors, windows to whatever. And we may not understand it because that's not something that I would do. Like I would never shut the doors on everything that I was in the past. But some people do. And you also have to understand that that's okay if people want to do that. Because sometimes we all are. Like you'd be like, look at her. Or we'd be like, look at him. ¿Quién lo viera? Que se cree muy santito. You know, like, but we're all guilty of that in a way. Just you have to keep reminding yourself of
And I think you're more guilty of it until you actually go through it yourself, where you're like, wait, you go through something bad and you're like, I need to change my life around, or and you don't know what someone maybe they've been fighting around behind closed doors, and you're like, maybe they've been fighting these demons for a long time, and they're finally like, you get tired of your own things sometimes.
We become very me. Like, I think it's crazy how sometimes, like I said, I am a person that doesn't care, but of course there's sometimes que si te llega como like, damn, I acted like that. Like, te pega como like la ansiedad de pensar, I did that. People saw that, like, you know?
Yes, the videos people have.
The anxiety. I'm like, I used to post, like, my wedding days, I posted more than now. I'm like, why don't I post my regular? I guess I feel like I'm not as interesting, but I feel like back then I would post everything, like
we would be posting,
but I'm like, at least I feel like I didn't care what people thought because I would post it.
Yeah, exactly. But then, it would be like, oh man, should I?
Yeah.
Or like people who remember that, like me at the club, dancing on the strip, like the stripper pole. You remember, like
okay, but let's talk about like, why is dancing on a stripper pole such a thing? Like, even if you have your clothes on, like the night got so wild that the bar standard is, if you ended up dancing on a strip pole, on a strip pole, like a stripper pole. To me, let me tell y'all, sometimes I talk about, like, with my friends, like, we would go out sometimes. I find it so normal, and I blurt it out, and I'd be like, yeah, me and my friends used to go to, like, strip clubs all the time, like, for fun. And they were like, oh, girls? We were like, yeah. Like, it was just like, and they were like, why? And I'd be like, why not? That shit is fun. Like, for me, it was like, what do you mean? Have you done it? Have you gone and wasted, like, money that wasn't mine? That was the funnest part. Like, this was not my money. I'm not saying I wouldn't give it to you girls. If I had it, I would. But I'm sure I'm admiring you because I need the money that you're making, but I just don't have the balls to do such a thing. But to me, I was just like, yeah, we go to the strip club all the time. Like, what do you mean? Like, this was a thing. And they're just looking at me like, why? You're weird. Like, who says that? I'm like, I can totally understand why men go to strip clubs. I know that not everybody's experience is not the same. Some people do have like a completely different experience, you know, but to me, I was like, I could understand it. To me, I'm like a girl dancing and pretty, whatever, looking, just chill, you know. But do I want my man doing that? Hell no.
I was about to say that. I was like, but
do I want my man doing that? No, because I know like it's fun. But to me, I'm like, yeah, me and my friends used to go to the strip club all the time. And some people are like, probably, and then if they see me post something right now that's like of where I'm at now, they'd be like, some people will call it like, oh, look at her, se crece, andaba por allá haciendo esto, and I'm like, yeah, that was then, this is now. Like, people change, it's all right. But
and you can still be fun when you want to be fun. That's the thing.
I'm like, you can be very smart and very knowledgeable and still be very wild. I feel like people believe that you have to like one of the other. I'm like, why? Like, why do I have to pick? Why can I be all? Why can't I be everything?
Yeah, you can do it all. I think you can have and I think it's important. Like, it's okay to have friends to have fun with and friends to have like different friends for everything. You know, like if I want to get lit with these friends on the weekend and then on Monday go to Bible study, I will. You know, like it's okay. But and I think it just comes from like not doing anything out of hate, or like if you're doing things and you're still like judging other or do this when it's like, okay, it's a little bit what is it called?
Hypocritical.
Yes.
Hypocritical, yeah.
I was gonna say hypothetical. Dang, I can't
hypothesis.
It's a little hypothesis to do that.
Scientific science projects being done here.
I'm gonna clip that and make it. You'll be like, this girl dumb. No, but I think that's when it's like a little. It can become a little bit.
Yeah.
But I feel like we understand that there's different
Yeah,
versions of ourselves, and we can.
I feel like it's almost the same bias as when people think like if you're pretty you gotta be dumb, or like like it's kind of the same thing. Like they think if you're wild you can't be good. Yeah, and it's like no, you can be both. Like I think behind everything is the intentions that you do things with. I think that's the biggest thing.
That is the biggest thing.
Because girl, I could be at church pegándome en el pecho, pero si mi intención es estar ahí doing like criticando and shit.
Yeah.
Or I could be at home not going to church, but my intentions are to like be a better person. Then I think that counts more than anything.
Exactly.
I'm not saying don't go to church. I need to go to church. The more I go to church, the better I feel. But I'm just saying, like, it's just the intention that you do it with. Yeah. Like at the end of the day, it's the intentions behind it. And I don't know if that's just me también. Like some people will be like, oh, that's just comforting for you to like excuse your actions. But I'm just like, no, but like, if you take accountability that you're trying to do better, beside like, I'm just saying, I can get away with everything because my intentions. No, bitch, I still got to do better. But I'm not condemning myself because I do wrong.
And I think if you think about your intentions, you're actually holding yourself accountable because you're like, what was my intention with that? Like, sometimes I think about everything because I'll be like, why do I feel this way? Is it because I'm feeling like insecure or I'm jealous, or why do I, when I start having a thought that I'm like, why do I think that? I'm like, I reflect and I'm like, okay, Jackie, it's because you
got to keep it real with yourself.
I'm like, maybe you have some jealousy there or something that you didn't.
Like, you don't want to have it, but it clearly is there. Like, no es que quieras, pero it's there. Like, you can't lie to yourself about it.
You can't.
You got to figure out what it is.
Yes, and I think sometimes people like to make excuses and they do blame others, or they'll be like, or I don't know, but I do think
that's sad. I think it's sad when people blame others in a way. I've always been a firm believer of like I said, everything that I've done wild in the past, like I could never sit there and be like, I've always told Jelly, I was like, I hate when people be like, it was the people that I was around that made me that person. That's not me. Hell no, bitch, that was me. That was me.
Yeah.
That was me, and I'm glad I found a little people to be me with at that time. Like that was me. Everything I did, that was all me. I mean, I probably wouldn't have been around it had I been in a different group of, whatever. But I feel like es lo que me llamaba la atención.
That's what you were, where you were at in that moment.
So I felt like I met everybody that I met for the reason, but I was just like, I hate when people be like, oh, they blame it on somebody else, their actions. I don't believe in blaming somebody else for your actions.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, I probably have unconsciously done it at some point, but at the end of the day, when you keep it real with yourself, you can't blame somebody else for your actions.
And at the end of the day, we chose to hang around those people. We chose to be in those relationships with the people we were with.
And you kept up with it for as long as you wanted to. Like, no matter how much people would tell you, like, you kept up with it as long as you wanted to.
Yeah, until you were ready to change that chapter.
But girl, when you realize the power of that, ain't it kind of scary? When you realize the power of like, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, like changing up.
Like changing up, keeping it, or like doing what you want with whatever that is. Like you can let this bad situation like overpower you and you never get over it. Or you can let that situation be like, we don't need to do that shit again.
Yeah.
You know?
It could be your fuel to be better.
And then that's scary power. Like the brain is a scary, powerful thing. It's my favorite part of the body, the brain.
Yes, because you can like train your brain.
The brain is amazing. And then coincidentally enough, in a sad way, I learned so much more about the brain with my dad's, like, like the brain is everything. Like my dad, like all his organs were like perfectly top notch. Like they would be like, everything in his organs, like body wise, is working
that's crazy.
top notch, but his brain is not sending the signals that the body needs to function. That's how important the brain is. Like to me, it was like mind blowing to know that it doesn't matter how much everything else works if you're not sending the signals to do it to the party. Like there's this book that I read when I was in the hospital that the nurse me recomendó. It was called Left Neglected. It's about this girl, like she's your like career successful woman. Like she has her career, she has her family, she's on top of her stuff. Like she's busy. Like she would say she would never waste a minute. Like she was always either answering emails or doing lunch for her kids or spending time with her kids. Like she was what you would call your all around perfectly functioning, fully fulfilled woman. Like she was covering everything, every area in her life perfectly. Unfortunately, she has an accident one day. This is based on real life. If you ever have a chance, read Left neglected.
Left neglected.
She gets in a car accident and she loses, like, everything is fine, but there's this part in her brain that deletes the left side. Like, literally, like, her brain tells her that nothing on the left side exists anymore.
So, like, so her past, you don't remember?
No. Like, nothing as far as left side. Like, something in, like, your brain controls absolutely everything that you do. Like, the way I'm looking at you right now, but right here, I can see that there's something here, a shadow. That's because my brain is allowing me to do that.
Or even your hand.
Like my brain is telling me what to do. So her brain hit something in her head that would tell her that this didn't exist no more. Like, her leg was movable, it worked. Her hand was movable, it worked. Her eye was perfectly, her vision was fine. But her brain told her that side doesn't exist anymore. So unless she became aware of it, she wouldn't move her hand or her left side. She would be like this.
Dang.
They would show her a picture of a house and they would be like, draw it. And she would only draw the door and the right side window and the right side of the house, even though the house was there.
Oh,
because her brain side would be like, that doesn't exist.
What?
And then so as she did therapy and stuff, like, she would have to find a way to bring herself to, like, it's not like it's lost. Hers, luckily, my dad's was lost, but hers luckily wasn't lost. It was more like you have to bring your brain to it. So they would, like, recommend, like, the way she describes it, because she was rich and she was, so she would have, like, a diamond and, like, a gold watch, right? But that didn't help her none in her situation. So she ended up trading with a nurse that was wearing, like, a neon watch, like a neon nurse, functioning, doesn't get in the way watch, because she said that would bring attention, like, bring her brain to that. So she was able to remind herself that she had a left arm, that she had a functioning left arm. So she ends up trading the gold watch with the nurse, and the nurse is like, are you sure? Like, this is a lot of money. She's like, I don't care about that. I want to be able to remind myself that I have a left arm. So she doesn't get better. Like, you think she's going to get, like, no, she learns to live with that. Like, she goes back to her house and she's, like, putting, like, yellow neon tape on everything that's to the left of her house to remind herself that exists. That is the power of the brain.
Damn, that's crazy.
That is
so crazy. Whatever you focus your brain on, it will literally make it happen.
And I feel like that goes to anything. Like,
anything.
If you focus
that's
on
the scary
part
in
your life, like, your brain it's controlled by that.
Whatever's in the back burner and you bring to the front is what reality is. That's the dream that the Cuatro Acuerdos talks that we live in. We live in a dream, and we are in full control of that dream. Whatever's in your back burner of your brain, if you want to pull it to the front, that will be your reality. Like, right now, my reality is that I'm having a good time with you guys. If I would change my reality and I pull this memory back years from now and I want to make it a bad one, it'll be that. It'll be a bad memory.
Oh my God.
That's the power of the brain.
Yes. That reminds me, there's also a really good book called Rewiring Your Brain. And it talks about that, like, how we literally do control our own brain. Like, we tell it what to do. We tell it what to...
Everything.
Yes. So that's crazy. That story really is crazy, though.
You should read that, but, like, the details in it, because I'm just, like, running through it, right? But the details in it. And then I was living it with my dad. Like, we would go get his eyes checked. And because his tumor was on the right side of the brain, so it was affecting everything on the left. Like, the reason...
So it's the opposite?
Yeah, your brain works the opposite. The left side controls the right side, and the right side of your brain controls the left side of your brain. So, like, the reason we were able to detect his is because his left leg would start going numb. Like, out of nowhere, it would just be numb. And then his left arm would be numb. So, we were thinking heart, because, you always wanted to relate. But he goes and it's like, no, he had a tumor in his right hand that was starting to do that. Like, that was the only signals that he ever gave. And that's how they were able to detect it. But it was all about the brain. So slowly he started losing motion. Like, they were like, we did x-rays on his back. His motion is fine, but he doesn't, like, he can't bend.
Yeah.
And then they do an MRI and they're like, oh, the part of the brain that tells the body to release the liquid in the spinal cords is no longer working. So even though the liquid is there, even though the spine works perfectly fine, the brain is not telling the body to release that liquid. Therefore, his back cannot bend. So I learned all of that because it was COVID time.
Yeah.
So in order for me to be able to stay in the hospital with him, I had to be in the hospital with him. Like, if he was in the hospital 3 weeks, I was there 3 weeks watching every test that they would do, everything, asking. So I learned a lot, and I was just like, the brain is everything.
It's powerful. That is so powerful.
The brain and the heart work hand in hand, like, in a way, But I think to me, even if everything else works, if the brain doesn't,
Yeah.
nothing
What's
works.
the point?
So even if you have a good heart, if your brain is not wiring right, like that's how people do fucked up shit. Like they may still have a good heart, but their brain is not wired right. Their brain is not functioning right. So
Yeah, it
They
goes
do
back
the
to
wrong
like
thing.
PTSD, like the
Yeah.
brain, everything that
Yeah.
can scan it. Yeah.
okay, it doesn't make you a bad person. Like it's
Yeah.
just
I saw this video that was like, it's over. Like in a relationship when your heart finally catches up with your brain.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that was deep.
that hits right because it's so true. It's like
Because your brain knows,
it's
but
como,
your heart.
es como que se te cae una venda, literalmente.
Yeah.
Like, and when it comes to relationship wise, it's literally como que se te cae una venda. Like when your heart catches up with your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Because your brain been no.
That brain knows.
Must be love of the brain. I think I'm tipsy.
Oh, wait, what is this blinking?
Where?
Oh yeah, this
these
is
two.
blinking too.
Oh yeah,
We're about
we've
to
been
know.
recording forever.
What time? We've been recording, y'all. What?
I know. We've been yabbing.
Hang on.
Chingatela de una vez, Jelly. Dioda toda. Ay, ya no dejaste nada. No dejaste nada.
Finish it.
Just put it in there. Just finish it.
Oh, no, ya no hay.
Ya no. A pinche jacket. I can't believe you're dry January. How-
Why not do it? I'm like, I'm gonna drink-
Why?
But I think a lot of
I'm
stuff.
gonna drink it from the.
I think a lot of stuff is like that's with me with smoking. I'm like I want to stop because mentally I want to know that I can. You know, like
No.
to challenge yourself.
Yo ya pude que me vale madre.
You know what really pushed me to do dry January?
What?
I got really drunk 2 weeks ago. That was my
The anxiety.
Yeah, the anxiety was so bad that I was like, cut it out. Let's cut it out for a whole month. It was so bad, literally, that
I
that's
haven't had anxiety in a long time.
Yeah, I haven't either.
I hadn't had it until that day. I was like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do dry January. After that, I did drink on New Year's. I didn't get drunk.
But I mean, and I'm not discouraging you from doing it in any way, shape, or form. But are you just beating yourself up about that? Something that's like,
I think so.
like, nah, don't do that.
It
Like,
wasn't even that bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if
I
you
asked
want to,
everybody.
if you want to do it, like, out of like anything else besides how you're being perceived, I would just be like,
That is true because I did actually learn my limits with drinking like
Yeah.
recently. Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm
right?
saying,
And
like-
you've seen me learn them because I only have like 2 drinks. After 3 drinks, I'm like,
Yeah.
let's go home. Like, so I've learned my limits, but I think that night,
It's that one time you slip up, you feel bad.
but it's
You
okay.
feel
You know, but I feel
horrible.
like you shouldn't. I feel like we shouldn't like beat ourselves up about it. Like, we don't have to be cookie cutter perfect all the time. We just have to be aware, and we just have to strive every day to do better. But it doesn't mean the day you don't do better, you're just like, bitch, go lock yourself in a gate. I
wanted to do that.
You know, like, you shouldn't do that. Hell no. You should just be like, all right, well, we're gonna learn from this and move along with that.
that I'm not gonna drink too many shots
Or that no, the
on an empty stomach.
empty stomach is.
That's what I learned.
I always tell people my rule is I don't care how late it is. I don't care how fatty it makes me look. I'm gonna eat before I go to bed after a day of drinking. And Jelly knows that. Like, I don't care. I'm like, we're gonna eat before I go to bed. Like, I'll be this
Yes.
drunk and I'll be like,
That's me right there
because
too.
I know that the next day I will regret it if I don't eat.
Yeah, but I'm talking about not
Before,
eating
yeah.
before.
yeah,
I'll eat
it's the
after.
before.
honey.
Yeah.
That's you too. You don't eat before.
Yeah, it's the before.
Me, for my birthday, this past birthday, I hadn't ate nothing but some 2 egg rolls that my nail place was giving out for Thanksgiving. And I went to get my nails done the day of my birthday, and they gave me 2 egg rolls. And that's literally all I ate. And then till the end of the night, I was eating some pasta. I was like, I literally hadn't eaten 12 hours.
No, we need to. That's something that I'm like. I used to be like, how do people forget to eat or how?
I know.
No da tiempo a veces.
Pasa.
Yeah,
It's not that you forget. It's that you. Get
yeah
so
it's there.
busy.
Trust me. I'm
Yeah.
thinking about it.
I'm starving.
No más de tiempo.
All right. I think it was that.
But yeah, that was good talk. We had good talk.
Yes, this was fun. This is really.
We didn't
fun.
even do the game, or we didn't even talk about being bilingual. We just whatever came into our minds.
We had a list of things we wanted to say, and then.
Do you want to touch on the job, new job?
What about the game? What was the game? Let's do a game.
I think we did. Well,
What we were gonna do? We listened, but we were gonna keep going. Like,
Oh yeah,
we
all of our stories were don't judge.
yeah.
We didn't have not one normal story. Or everybody's was like, I died with the emo SpongeBob. Me and Jelly just telling her that we got
Bumping in the
woken up.
wrong truck.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we hit on a lot though.
We did. We have had good times though.
Yeah, we'll have her back for part 2.
Yes, we'll definitely need a part 2.
Yeah, in case we missed anything. But thanks for coming on. Finally,
I was kind of nervous because I would tell Jelly, I was like, I don't know if I'm either gonna shut down or I'm gonna
Talk too
overshare.
much.
Yeah, I was like, one of the two is gonna happen, but it was good.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing, and you were very like vulnerable with us, and it makes us feel,
I feel like that. Yeah, I was just
good
yeah.
to have you and to express, speak your mind, honey.
I do promote that, but speak it kindly.
Yes.
Because sometimes I be a bitch about things, and I have to remind myself, Sylvia, you could have done better with that, you know. So I'm just trying to remind myself. I speak your mind, but speak it kindly.
Yes.
But thank y'all for watching, because the camera's about to die, so let me hurry up.
Yes.
Thanks for watching. Comment down below your favorite part of this episode. And we will definitely have Silvia back. Make sure you hit that subscribe button.
And we love you guys. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.